There are times when you'll need someone. I will be by your side. There is a light that shines, destined for you and me. I'm not a singer, so don't judge my voice. Make a joyful noise, right? That's what it's all about. And since we're talking about make a joyful noise, Lotus in Hand Therapy, massage therapy, in the form of Thai, acupressure, reflexology, craniosacral, lymphatic drainage, qigong, nutritional consultation. You can find me on Facebook.com/Lotus in Hand Therapy, operating by appointment only. And if you need to get a hold of me for that phone consultation, there's the number for you to call, 718-650-3539, lotusinhandtherapy.com. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get into the bulk of this information. But before we do, let's go ahead and just start this out with some words of wisdom. Alright? And the disciples came and said to him, "Why do you speak to them in parables?" He answered and said to them, "Because it has been given to you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it has not been given. For whoever has, to him more will be given, and he will have abundance. But whoever does not have, even what he has will be taken away from him. Therefore I speak to them in parables, because seeing they do not see, and hearing they do not hear, nor do they understand. And in them the prophecy of Isaiah is fulfilled, which says, Hearing you will hear and shall not understand, and seeing you will see and not perceive. For the hearts of this people have grown dull. Their ears are hard of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears, lest they should understand with their hearts and turn, so that I should heal them. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. For assuredly I say to you that many prophets and righteous men desired to see what you see, and did not see it, and to hear what you hear, and did not hear it." Alrighty, right then. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, Lotus in Hand Therapy presents 40 Days and Nights, intellectual property of Jonathan E. Moore. That is me, the author of this protocol. The purpose of our protocol: 1, we are performing detox, cleanse, fast, and a break. The purpose of which is to detox, remove bodily intoxicants, cleanse, mental, emotional intoxicants, fast for spiritual, energetic intoxicants, the release of spiritual and energetic intoxicants, and a break for our lifestyle maintenance. Alright? First things first, expectations. Get rid of them. What will be, will be. Second, things to consider. Current level of health determines results and length. If you're a healthy person, you're looking at 40 days, my friend. That means healthy means like you're, no known illnesses or diseases. Then you're moderately healthy. If you are just trying to get healthier than you currently are, and you know that you've got a little something that could use a little bit more attention, go ahead and take the 80-day move. All you have to do is just kind of prolong. You can perform both the entire 40-day cycle twice. And then for anyone that is looking into trying to treat an illness, or is definitely fighting off something a little bit major, like recovery from any kind of form of interventional treatment, whether that be HIV, any type of cancer, the entire length or life cycle of a red blood cell is 120 days. So you're going to need a protocol that moves you into cleansing every single cell in a matter of 120 days. Now I know that sounds like a lot, but you can do it. And we'll get into some more about how you can do that in a little bit. Alright? Number 2, metabolism is always a factor. You have two types of metabolisms. 1, hypoactive. 2, hyperactive. Usually male or female, female or male, whichever way you want to put it first, fall right in between both hypoactive and hyperactive. It just depends on what state of mind or body they're in, okay? Whether it's in a fight or flight state or a rest and digest state, alright? Typically, if a male is hypoactive, you know, or has a hypoactive metabolism, meaning like it's subpar, it can usually indicate that there's something else going on. So you're going to be underneath that 120-day protocol. Same thing with ladies. Women tend to be actually more hypoactive than men. Some of the defining characteristics of hypoactivity in terms of you know, your metabolism is you have no problem gaining weight. It's easy. You have difficulty losing weight. And some tips: you should not eat sudoriferous veggies unless fermented. Sudoriferous vegetables are cruciferous vegetables: broccoli, cauliflower, kale, your dark leafy greens. Avoid fiberless foods. And also, you have people who are hypoactive tend to be hypoglycemic, meaning when their blood sugar drops, they tend to be more on the depressed side versus, on the, it's like very, very sluggish and, you know, more fatigued, and yeah, like there's a lot more indications towards depression. Now, moving on, you have hyperactive. All right, this is usually males tend to be typically more hyperactive than females. All right, don't believe it. Look at even the case studies in regards to attention deficit disorder. It's easy losing weight. It's difficulty gaining weight. Should eat plenty of sudoriferous veggies. This is the difference in terms of eating habits. It's the first thing in terms of your do not eat list. Okay, but you know, hyperactive people, it benefits you to eat those dark leafy greens, the cauliflowers, the kales, the broccolis, the turnip greens, etc., etc. And hyperglycemic, not hyperactive. Hyperglycemic meaning like there's usually like a very small amount of like sugar stores, but they're always just like eating and eating and eating, and well, there's never any indications for hyperactive. Usually people just find it as, or classify it as healthy until a person cannot keep any weight on at all. Alright, so that's something else. Number 3, level of activity and expenditure of energies is key to time management. So we're doing 5:45 a.m. wake-up calls. Alright, you know, learn how to manage your time. 4, be aware, detox begins the moment we remove ourselves from sources of intoxication. Simple. Intoxication as it relates to this process should also be understood and viewed as habitual or addictive patterns. This protocol is designed to be gradual and progressive to make the process of reformatting and transitioning into healthier lifestyle as easy as possible. If you need any of these pages, feel free to, you know, inbox me. I'll be happy to scan them and send them over your way. Once again, Intellectual Property of Jonathan E.O. Moore. LIHT 40 Days and Nights. Detox, Cleanse, Fast. Things to avoid. Let's get into this things to avoid. The do not eat list. Whatever you know you're allergic to, don't eat it. Anything that you don't know you're allergic to, don't eat it. Things that are known to be known allergies or allergens: peanuts, milks, and cheeses. 90% of most Americans are actually lactose intolerant. Lactose is also, whey protein is also a lactose derivative. The milk or the lactose is removed, however, it is still a milk-based protein, and it will still cause a food sensitivity allergy to occur. Um, and milks and cheeses should not come from animal sources. If you're going to consume a milk or a cheese, it should be from a goat. Mostly just because they have the most similar hormonal activity as a human being. Cows don't. Foods with long shelf life, don't eat those. That includes canned foods, white or wheat breads. Alright, these tend to be glutenized or casein, and those type of allergies have been also related to autism, spectrum disorders, Alzheimer's disease, even Parkinson's. White or wheat pasta, white long grain rice, radioactive colored foods or drinks, processed or manufactured, no carbonated drinks, alright, and especially nothing diet, no diet drinks, non-organic coffee. Things to add, you can add dandelion to help out with your coffee. If you gotta drink it, add some dandelion root to it, okay? You'll be doing yourself a favor and you'll be helping out your liver. We'll talk about that later on. Processed food snacks, anything in a plastic or in a cardboard box. Stimulants, this includes cigarettes, energy drinks, excessive alcohol. Medicinal tinctures are okay. And this little blank spot right here is actually supposed to say reduce or abstain from sex. So, like, you know, in the early stages, like, it's okay if you're still, like, on the wagon every now and then, but, like, nothing more than once every 4 days, okay? So make it worth something. And don't overdo it. Learn some exercises. You know, retention of the seed and, you know, all that other stuff. We'll go into that when we get into the reproductive system. Overeating, avoid that. Reduce or abstain from recreational drug use. Alright, so even your pharmaceuticals and your wide range of narcotics or off-brand drug use. Avoid that, okay? Or reduce it as much as you can. Avoid also being negative. Avoid microwaves. Being negative is also a state of mind. You know, like being negative, like encourages stress response, and we'll talk about that when we get into the kidneys and bladder and reproductive system. Avoid microwaves because this adds nuclear or radioactive isotopes into your food. Basically, it kills the nutrition. You're eating slop. There's no nutritional value. You might as well be eating cardboard if you're still using a microwave. Not to mention, they use chemotherapy. And chemotherapy, what is that? It's the death of all cells. It's putting it all back to a reset stage, alright? So moving right along, no deep fried foods, okay? Sauteed is okay at the very most. Drinking cold fluids after meals. Wait 30 minutes. After you eat a meal, it was recommended 15. I like to say wait 30 minutes, alright? If you can't wait 30, 15 is cool too, but just drink your water extremely slow. Alright, things to do. Drink water, alright? Don't forget, avoid that tap water. Get that distilled bottle, gallon water if you can. If you have access to a Kangen water filter, get it, you know. If not, purified at the least, distilled at the most. Kangen, if you got it like that, hook a brother up. Stay hydrated. Eat below satisfaction, alright? That's going to help out with encouraging and speeding up your metabolism for everybody who is in that hypoactive category, who have difficulty, you know, burning off fat. Staying happy is a good thing, but staying hungry is also a good thing. It means that your metabolism is running. That means increased thyroid activity. So, yeah, we'll talk about thyroid issues later on. Snack often, alright, every 2 hours. And we'll talk about food choices soon. Consume more superfoods. That means nutrient dense, calorie deficient, alright? Calories are fine if you are, hyperactive or hypo, not hypo, but just hyperactive, consuming superfoods is a great thing. And we'll talk about superfoods later on. Smile. Smiles are contagious. Be positive, even when you are not. It's a state of mind. So even if you feel sad, act like you're happy. Alright? We'll get into barrier breaking exercises when we discuss emotional detox and cleanse. Remain aware and conscious that towards the conclusion of 40 days and nights, the final 7 days may or may not present with serious physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, or energetic withdrawal symptoms. To make this process easy, tolerable, beneficial, and effective, the protocol follows a suggested course of action with explanation as to why. Alright, the detox, cleanse, fast, and break. Detoxification. Once again, it begins immediately after removing the source of intoxication, which may be a substance, an environment, behavior, or a pattern of behavior. The detox process takes 28 days. It takes 28 days to break and create new patterns of consumption and behavior within the physical body. Alright, so focus for the first 14 days. We're going to be getting into the lung, large intestine, and lymphatic system in the next couple of days. It's going to be fun. I promise you, you're going to learn a lot. 7 days following that will be spent on the spleen, stomach, small intestine, and appendix. The small intestine is not written here, but I will make that correction for you right now, because I can't have these blank spaces in my work. I just can't. So yes, you're looking at handwritten material. Why? Because it's important that you know it came from the heart. It was spleen, stomach, appendix, small intestine. There you go, small intestine. Small intestine. Where was it? Heart. Okay, spleen, stomach, appendix, small intestine. Then after that, we will follow up with 7 days on purging and cleansing and detoxing the heart as an organ and as an energetic concept. Alright, as a metaphor. After that, we will begin our cleansing process. After detox, the most superficial remnants, the most superficial ailments of the physical body should have been significantly decreased. Cleansing relates to reformatting and solidifying new habits in the emotional and mental bodies. Alright, so we'll get into mental processing, thought pattern recognition, patterns of behavior, behavioral recognition within ourselves. We're not looking to diagnose or treat anybody else. That's the job of, your acupuncturist or your psychiatrist, if that's what you got to do. Or even, same thing like with your primary care physician. They do a great job with it too, from a more pharmaceutical-based treatment perspective. So, same thing with your psychiatry. That's not what we're about. We're talking about doing this the natural way, baby. So here we go again, page 3, Intellectual Property of Jonathan E. O. Moore. LIHT, 40 Days and Nights. Focus of the cleansing is 7 days, and this focuses on the brain. Okay, once again, we're taking care of emotional and mental bodies. Alright? After that, we'll move into the fast. The fast, the total assistance of specific foods, the abstinence of specific foods, patterns of thought, emotions, rituals, habits that encourage undesired results. We will be abstaining from those completely. Word of advice: be strong in your personal intentions and actions by being proactive in taking ownership of them. We're going to focus 3 days onto the liver, the gallbladder, and the pancreas, to which afterwards which will go into daily maintenance, becomes the lifestyle practice, now easier adhered to. Your personal journey into revived, renewed, and improved health focuses 2 days onto the kidneys, the bladder, and the reproductive system. Now, this is it's not as intense as you think it is, because like the days are the shortest with the kidney, bladder, and reproductive. But when we get there, we'll cross that bridge. All right, keeping it moving. Let's go. Time management. 40 days and nights is a long time, so don't feel the need to rush yourself or your results. Patience will become our virtues. Daily routine. Remember to always hydrate regularly, follow the breakdown, rest when needed, and progress gradually. Time, 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. Morning flush. We're going to get into that next week. 8 ounces distilled water with 2 tablespoons of non-iodized salt. Epsom salt if you got it. Alright? Morning flush and evacuation, 5 to 7 a.m. 6 a.m. Metaphysical training, MPT. 20 to 30 minutes. Something that makes you think and sweat. Or actually not think, but think nothing. That's what you want to think about. You want to think nothing. Alright? That's part of your metaphysical training. Why is it called metaphysical? Meta means super or above the norm. Okay? Beyond mediocre. Metaphysical training. So your exercise needs to be something that goes beyond just the physical body. It needs to go just beyond the mental body. And it should also definitely and always take you somewhere into the emotional body. If not, you're not using your brain. Alright? Emotions are nothing more than the processes of the brain perceptions, the brain's perception of the external environment. Alright? And then it just looks for reference material as to whether or not we're calm or if we need to be on guard. Moving on. 8 a.m. A kingly breakfast, nutrient dense, carbs and fats, smoothie or fruit. Alright? 11 a.m. Kingly brunch, fruit, whole and eaten slow. 1300 or 1 p.m. MPT, 20 to 30 minutes. If you're at work, go for a walk. You don't need to eat so much anyway. It's okay. You're gonna need to start getting used to taking in less calories. Trust me, this is a good way to go. All right. 1400, which is 2 p.m. princely lunch. Something steamed, something stewed, something souped, or super protein. All right. But remember, just make sure it's not on that avoid list, the do not eat list. 4 p.m. 1600 princely dinner, steamed, sautéed, soup, or even a smoothie. Okay. 6 p.m. 1800 pauper's dinner, snack, stew, or soup, or smoothie. Basically, you're trying to go to sleep with a little bit of unsatisfaction on your stomach. You know, you want to eat to satisfaction, but never beyond it. That's why I say it's better to eat below than it is to eat above. All right. I just realized that that's got so many like different ways of being taken, but we're keeping our minds elevated. Okay, so moving on. Special days. Days 1 through 8. Drink more water. Reduced wasteful consumption. Day 9 through 20, more veggies, less fruit. Day 21 through 28, super grains. This is going to be mostly sprouted grains. Day 29 through 35, morning salt flush, no fruit, no grains, no nuts. All right, 29 through 35. That's our 3-day. Excuse me. That's our 7-day. One of the last 7-day. Portions of the cycle that we got. Then you have day 36 through 38, which means we're going to be doing master cleanse and green apple sauce. Alright, so that's going to be good for your liver. I'm going to explain how that works out when we get to that bridge. Once again, intellectual property of Jonathan E. O. Moore, LIHT 40 Days and Nights. Day 39, liver, gallbladder, pancreas flush, soup break. All right, when we're spending these last 2 days on breaking our fast, we're going to be ingesting things very, very slow because our bodies have gotten so accustomed to not taking so much in. Day 40, we'll move more into like the way that we ate, of course, before, still with many of the healthier adjustments. This can be done through smoothie, soup, stew, or breakfast, or during your break. And then here's point number 9. Divine number 9. It's a beautiful number. Know what you are detoxifying, cleansing, and fasting for or from. Many embark on a diet or a detox of one or more organs, often neglecting its effect on the system as a whole. The human machine is one maintained through two aspects of one whole. That principle being it flows in only one direction, forward or clockwise. Now we're going to get into some diagrams. Don't start looking at these like it's like some type of old ancient scary magic type stuff. Just know that, like, magic was nothing more than a science at one point, the same way that seek to explain miracles now, but just in a different context. In any case, generating and control. So the liver, gallbladder, and pancreas generate the heart and brain. The heart and brain generate and nourish spleen, stomach, small intestine, and appendix, and they are connected with the lung, the large intestine, the lymphatic vessels, and then they go up into the kidney, bladder, and reproductive. And this is our generating cycle. Alright? Now there's also a way to generate it through control. So, but we just call this the control cycle. Alright? So the liver, gallbladder, and pancreas are all sitting at the top. Heart and brain on the side, spleen, stomach, small intestine, appendix, lung, large intestine, lymphatic, kidney, bladder, reproductive. Now I've added some extra organs to what traditional Chinese medicine does not. Alright, those things being the reproductive system, the recognition of the brain, and the recognition of the appendix. The modern forms of traditional Chinese medicine do recognize these structures within the body, but they treat them completely from a different perspective. Disease comes with a white glove to the cheek. Insult occurs in reverse counterclockwise of the generating or controlling cycles. So, insult generation, heart and brain affect the liver and gallbladder, affecting the kidney and bladder and reproductive, and then back down to the lung, large intestine, lymphatic systems. So, we're moving at a nice pace. Moving right along into the next thing. We're almost finished, people. Intellectual property of Jonathan Moore. LIHT, 40 days and nights. Detox, cleanse, fast, and break. An insult to disease. The insult cycle is the pathway to disease. So in this method, we will follow the P ways in treating superficial ailments before moving back to a state of improved health and lifestyles. Knowing how and what organs are being detoxed and cleansed helps, especially when viewed from an organic, holistic, natural perspective. This is to say that one thing affects the other. Too often do detoxes and cleanses fail because the emotional, mental, and systemic changes are not taken into consideration. Using the 5-element representation of organ and bowel association is the perspective taken with modifications. Now, the normal cycle includes the liver and gallbladder. I've added the pancreas mostly just because I feel that it works synergistically via the common bile duct, alright? And we'll talk about that later on. The heart and brain work synergistically in the fact that the brain can only produce hormones or neurotransmitters. in which case those neurotransmitters, they flow only through what? Ding, 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 blood vessels. The first place that they go is straight towards the heart before being sent directly into systemic circulation. Alright? The spleen, stomach, small intestine, and appendix, I feel that they're all connected, mostly just because of the alimentary canal, and they separate or they terminate from the colon or the large intestine at the appendix. Alright? The lung, large intestine are all associated and connected, mostly just because the lungs is surrounded by pleural tissue. The large intestine, also the same thing. There's a lot of muscle tissue that is also pleural tissue that surrounds the large intestine. Then you have the lymphatic system, which is moved through muscular contraction or stretching or movement therapy, alright? In which case the activity of breathing alone will and can move the lymphatic system to keep the body and the blood circulation fresh and intoxicant free. The kidney, bladder, and reproductive organs are all grouped and associated together, mostly just because of their association in the lower body, so to speak. So the insult site, and so normally it would follow in the direction that I just gave, that I just prescribed, which would be liver, gallbladder, pancreas, feeds or nourishes the heart and brain. The heart and brain are, nourish the spleen, stomach, small intestine, and appendix. The lung, large intestine, and lymphatic are nourished by the spleen, stomach, small intestine, and appendix. The kidney, bladder, and reproductive system is all nourished by the lung, large intestine, and lymphatic system. And then kidney, bladder, and reproductive system are all nourishing and generating the liver, gallbladder, and pancreas. Now, the insult cycle goes in reverse. So the liver, gallbladder, and pancreas would be insulting the kidney, bladder, and reproductive system, which in turn would be insulting the lung, large intestine, and lymphatic system, which in turn would insult the spleen, stomach, small intestine, furthering the insultation with information to the heart and brain. And both the heart and brain would be insulting or sending information back to the liver, gallbladder, and pancreas. So it's a lot of information. I know that you're still with me because this is important stuff. But I tell you what, we got a lot more to cover, so we're going to stop there and we're going to resume tomorrow. Much love, much light, much peace, equality, and justice for all. My Umi said, shine your light on the world. Shine your light for the world to see. Shine your light on this world. Shed light for the world to see. I want my people to be free and healthy. I want my people to be free and healthy.